Hello everyone, welcome back to probably the finale of Cabernet? I assume so. So we're here in 1999, Liesla's looking fantastic, we're about to watch some TV. We already looked at this portrait of Anastasia, so what else can I get into though? Because there's this. What happened to Petya? Where's Petya?
Glasha. I think I took good care of her over the years. I still maintain that till this day, it is the most beautiful doll the world has ever seen. Not counting Matilda, of course.
Where is Petya? Where's Petya? Where's Petya at? Petya is possibly still alive. Okay, there's my things and my dagger.
I must remember to sign and ship those to my editor after the holidays. I'm quite proud of this one. Maybe I'm finally hitting my stride. Shame I have to change my pen name again soon, or people will start to get suspicious.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea, being an immortal author.
It's funny. There are never enough hours that I can dedicate to writing at night. And yet, I can have all the years I want to write one book. Still, I'll take one good book in a decade over 10 mediocre any day.
That's why George R.R. Martin is waiting so long for A Song of Ice and Fire. George R.R. Martin is a vampire. Can take as long as he needs. It's been here in front of our faces the entire time. Hello.
Home sweet home. Over a century has passed, and I still can't get used to being this well off.
Yeah, we got big rugs. We're very well off, you know? Because that's the sign of rich, a big rug. I mean, basically the entire floor is covered in rugs, except for the area over there and some small spaces over here. Kitty! Vampire Kitty.
I may have never mastered the piano, but I always admired the instrument. Sometimes I wish I took more classes with Anastasia.
I tried.
Only have myself to blame. My dear pumpkin.
Look at your little vampire toofies. Do you even know how to turn your vampire form off?
I simply can't imagine my life without you. We made the right call turning you into a vampire cat, didn't we?
He's so cute. He's so cute, Pumpkin. Oh my god, Pumpkin, you're so adorable. I love you. So happily, in fact, it can bear. As far as you can tell, the cat very much welcomed this idea. To this day, he remains under Lisa's care and appears very happy.
An appraiser friend of mine recently looked at this painting. Turns out, over the decades, it appreciated in value and is now worth a small fortune. Don't think I'll ever sell it, though. Means too much to me. I heard vampires get quite attached to their possessions as they get older. Guess I'm not immune to that.
Is that just the painting that was in my room in Volkov's? Okay, I guess I'm gonna sit down and watch some TV now. I think I examined everything that I could.
Only a few hours left till we get to celebrate the much-anticipated year 2000.
Yeah, get hype.
The new year is flying fast towards us, and what better present for the nation than the first annual address of the newly elected President Chernov?
Absolutely. It's been a tumultuous year for our country with the tragic, sudden passing of the former head of state. Luckily, Anatoly Chernov promptly took matters into his own hands, first as acting president and now as president-elect, after the results of the official emergency referendum.
That's right, Maxim. President Chernov has already demonstrated his firm and efficient governing style.
Maxim? That's a name we recognize, right? It was one of the characters we saw. I mean, I don't think it's the same character, but... Yeah, no, Maxim was, that was just the name of the person that took the shot. That was Maxim. It's probably a common name.
In his short time in office, he's issued orders to reinforce the defensive military budget, and has also introduced a zero-tolerance policy towards illegal immigration.
Finally, our people will have the much-desired stability back into their lives.
Can't wait to hear what he has to say at midnight.
Me too. Say, Oksana, what are you going to wish for when the clock strikes 12?
Well,
Fools.
Yeah. Yeah. I gained XP. Okay, I hear you.
Looks like your ride is here and already causing a nuisance.
Ah, me and Elisa are still together. I imagine I would be alone if I just had, like, Roman before. But Roman or Anastasia, because Anastasia didn't seem welcome to being turned, and Roman I don't see anything about here. I couldn't find something to examine Roman. I thought all the items in this room would pertain to a character somehow, and I could see how they're doing.
That bastard woke me up from such a beautiful dream.
What was the dream?
And what was the dream?
That all the annoying drivers in the world were dead, obviously.
Love you, Queen.
Right. Of course.
Hey, are you all right?
Yeah.
You know you don't have to do this, right? Besides, it's not going anywhere. Why don't you come to the party with me tonight? Should be good fun. Arbin sent us a case of that delicious vintage Cabernet.
I admit, it's very tempting, but I'm sorry. I can't.
I'm sorry, I just can't help staring at Pumpkin's cute face looking at me. Would probably, like kill me with the blood draining. I imagine, like, how do you tell a cat, hey, you can't drink too much blood or they'll die? Like, how do you tell that to a cat?
I have to do this on my own, and I have to do it now. I don't know why, but I feel that tomorrow won't be the same.
Fine. You've always been a stubborn one.
Look who's talking.
You know you can call me any time, right? If you're in any trouble at all, just send a word and I'll tear them apart before they can say Happy New Year.
I bet you would, but I'll be fine, I promise. I'm pretty tough myself.
That you are.
I better get going before the car leaves without me.
Tell him if he wakes me up again, I'll curse his kin to the 5th generation.
I will. Love you, my queen.
Ah, Queen.
Love you too, princess.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we know who the Dom is. Understood. I mean, I imagine that would be the case. But, you know. Confirmation. Oh. Oh, that car is like
Getting
a different
close now,
art style.
boss.
Hey, Trophim! You're still here. I did say I'd turn you. I wonder if this would be someone else if I didn't agree to turn Trophim.
So, here I am again. Good to be back. It's hard to believe the last time I set foot here was around a century ago. Vampires generally aren't allowed to stay in the same place for more than 20 years. Otherwise, people start asking questions. Small towns have surprisingly long memories, but you can usually come back once it makes sense for you to pass as your own offspring. Nowadays, they call permission to stay a vampire visa. Higher society granted me one for this town decades ago, but I just haven't been ready until now.
Listen to this remix. Glossary. Vampire visa. Lives in the shadows trying to hide their existence. This is why higher society introduced the concept of a vampire visa. An amount of years that the vampire can safely stay in a particular location without causing too much suspicion. Vampires who make significant contributions to the human world and gain a certain level of fame are required by high society to use pseudonyms and follow otherwise sensible rules in order not to be discovered.
I'm not sure why, but I feel like I owe my old friends a visit in this new millennium, even if it is at a cemetery.
Getting close now, boss. Sorry we couldn't get straight to the main road. You know how it is round these parts in the winter.
Sure do. If one could sell snow, this place would be fancier than New York by now.
Nah, someone would have stolen it all first.
True. So, any plans for the holidays, Trophine?
You know me, my lady. Probably will find a quiet lake to ice fish in.
Still on the fishing all these years later, huh, Trophime? Hasn't gotten boring?
Have some good leads.
That's what I figured.
What about you?
Nothing much. Spending time with friends, working, we'll see. Spending time with friends?
Probably we'll just spend time with friends. Feel like reconnecting with the old gang lately.
Fair enough, boss.
Okay. So we're gonna see Arbin, of course. Volkov. It's gonna be very neat to. Oh, look at Trophime.
Well, seems like we made it.
Trophime, you gotta put your fangs away.
Thanks, Trophime. Oh, almost forgot.
Give New Year's bonus.
Here's something for you from Grandfather Frost.
Madam, this is too generous.
Happy New Year's Eve, Trophime. You deserve it.
Thank you so much, my lady.
Would you come pick me up closer to sunrise?
Your wish is my command, boss.
There we go. Explore the town.
This monument was built to commemorate the brave men and women who saved dozens of lives and prevented further disaster during the town hall tragedy. That night indeed became an important one in the town's history. Due to Yvonne's bomb being defused, the rescue operation was swift and simple, and those who weren't already dead or dying all made it back home. I wish the sign mentioned Gosha by name. She was the true hero in all this.
Yeah, what happened to
Without
Gosha?
her, just like it says there, the outcome could have been a disaster for the ages.
Did she just die in there, or?
Since so many of the horrors beneath Town Hall were vampire-related. Shortly after the rescue operation, the Higher Society sent a hypnotist crew, a well-trained, powerful group of vampires. Of course, there wasn't any enchantment strong enough to completely remove those memories. However, they did manage to alter them enough to convince the humans that what they saw was all standard prison torture practices. Horrible and illegal, yes, but nothing beyond the depthless depravity of mortal beings. The corpse chamber and draining floor, no more than a gruesome dream that faded with the sunrise.
Oh. Hi? Phantoms to talk to?
The infamous Savely Skortsov, the purportedly non-corrupt mayor of town, ended up being a ruthless sociopath. The fact that Gosha defused Yvonne's bomb meant two things for him. One, that the building didn't crumble on top of his own head after the explosion, meaning that he survived the night. And two, that when I took the townsfolk to help free the prisoners, he was taken by surprise and captured. As one would imagine, given Savely's deeds, he spent the rest of his life behind bars.
Good.
Perhaps his greatest legacy is that he became somewhat of a folklore figure. Mothers in this area often frighten their children by telling them that bloody Savely will snatch them up if they don't behave. In contrast, the next mayor the town elected remained in his position for nearly a decade and was entirely inconsequential. During that whole time, he arguably did less to improve the town than Savely did in a few months. But then again, he didn't organize brutal murders beneath town property.
Yeah, that's generally a plus, I think.
Well, at least that we know of.
Okay, so this is where I get my oh yeah, this is your flashbacks on these characters, or fill in the details.
The Countess, predictably, kept adjusting with the times and growing her fortune. After the Cabernet producing facility at the town hall was destroyed, she took a loss and had to pivot. However, when the doctor terminated their contract, she never ended up finding a decent replacement. It didn't take her too long to bounce back, though. More partners came forward soon enough, and eventually other business opportunities presented themselves. Some say the Countess is now running one of the biggest mafia networks in the country.
Oh, that was a weird cut in the audio there.
It's only rumor, of course, but in all honesty, I would certainly not put something like that past her.
Yeah, her running mafia seems like it makes sense.
Victoria still works for the Countess. Say what you want about her, but she's a loyal one. It clearly didn't go unnoticed by Countess Orlova, and, albeit unofficially, Victoria is widely considered to be her number 2. They say she leads the departments that are heavy on the dirty work, since the Countess trusts her. Rumors, of course, but rings true, doesn't it?
I could have killed you, but I did not. Hi, Queen.
What can I say? There's never a dull night with Elisa. There aren't many who have the privilege of being friends with this mysterious creature, so I'm proud to be one of the lucky ones. How many vampires can say that they've seen the sunrise after being turned? I am yet to meet another but her. Only her unique blend of intelligence, passion, and a touch of madness could achieve such results. Her technique, however, brought about much more than just her famous sunrise paintings, which I must say are a huge hit among the vampiric community. I often use a version of it in my clinic for both vampire and human anesthetic purposes, and have helped introduce this practice throughout the vampiric medical community. When her vampiric visa in town expired, sadly, Elisa had to abandon her hookah bar. Such is the fate of most vampiric enterprises. However, people remembered it fondly years after its closure and told stories of legendary nights spent there. The tales grew with embellishments until no one knew what was true, like any good story eventually does. There were vampires who attempted to recreate Elisa's success by building their own such establishments, but no one was able to quite capture her same type of magic. Still, wherever she goes, she manages to start a new venture and turn it into something special. To selfishly put this all aside for a moment, I'm just so incredibly happy we're together. Who knew that I would fall for someone like her? But then again, there really isn't anyone quite like her, is there?
Nah, she's a baddie. And she's your baddie, Lisa. Alright, what do we got here? Volkov!
Dr. Volkov's story is not a happy one. Like so many talented people, he fell victim to his own work.
He was becoming a little obsessed there.
His research left him fully addicted to blood. Every month he got worse and worse, until he truly was a shadow of his former self. One day he just seemed to vanish. No warning, no note. There's no way to know for sure, but I'm worried that, despite all his fears, the doctor turned feral. There are few fates worse for a vampire. He didn't deserve an end like that.
I wonder if I had finished like all of your stuff, like all of your side quests, maybe I could have helped you finish it and then you wouldn't have turned feral? Possibly. It's the only thing I can think of. Wow, this place is not doing great. Anastasia!
Sadly, Anastasia never found the ending to the piece she was writing. And our relationship, as passionate as it was, didn't last as long as I had hoped. Despite inheriting the house, she didn't stay long in town after Evgeny's death. The music school, of course, was shut down, and to my knowledge, no one has ever opened one again since. After a few years, we lost touch, so that's all I know about her fate.
Aww. Things did not end well with Anastasia. Ah, the vodka bar is still going strong, I see.
This place sure looks grimy.
Oh. It's still the same Xavier text. Hey, shithead.
Well, it's been a while since I thought about you. For as long as I stayed in town, nothing really seemed to change in his life. All the same tricks and schemes. And after that, needless to say, we didn't keep in touch. Call me naive, but I always felt there was more to him than met the eye. Perhaps I would have learned more if I got to know him better, but of course it's a little late for that now.
Yeah, did seem like you had some other stuff going on, possibly. Okay, nothing else going on in here. I can't fly it. Can I fly into my room? Ah, I need an invitation, so I can't. Shame. Okay. What we got here? Ah.
While I still lived in town, Arbin stayed here for as long as her vampiric visa allowed. We had our fair share of adventures together, and to this day remain close friends. When she finally left, for a while she tried to maintain her establishment from afar. But alas, literary salons went out of fashion, and eventually they built a regular housing project in its place. Arbin overcame her internal struggles about siring and ended up taking several fledglings under her wing. Unsurprisingly, each and every one of them is well and thriving. She often credits me for that, but really, she's always cared for the newly turned, just like the moment I first met her. Arbin eventually moved abroad, but still sends me a case of delicious red every year.
I see. Yeah, so we got a good ending for Arbin. Because we helped.
What do you know? The store is still here.
Yeah, sure is. There's the flowers.
If you're looking for champagne, vodka, or flowers, don't bother. They're all out.
Is that right?
Well, why else do you think I'm still open? All the demand and no other supply. That's good business.
Okay.
Happy New Year's Eve. The bouquet
100.
over there, please.
Yeah, things have went up a lot.
Cutting it a bit late with the presents, aren't you? You'd better hurry home, or you'll miss the president's speech.
Did anybody ask you? Not for me.
Thanks, but I don't think I'll be watching this year. Not my cup of tea.
What? Why not? Don't you care about your own country? See, that's the problem with your generation. You hold nothing sacred.
Oh, really? And what generation do you think that is?
Generation of spoiled brats. You've seen nothing, done nothing, and fought for nothing.
This is hilarious.
You have all the freedom in the world, but no, you just complain and demand more. Show some respect and be grateful for once.
Are you finished?
Yeah, you done your little tantrum? You good now?
Listen, I'm not who you think I am, but I don't expect you to understand that. Mark my words, I've seen this happen to our country time and time again. At this point, I feel it in my bones, like how some with arthritis can feel rain coming.
What are you babbling about, girl?
Every time there was hope, a person like that man came to crush it. No one has found a way to break the cycle yet. So, of course, I've come to not expect much. All I'm asking is, think. Think and care about your fellow man. Then, make your own choices.
Would be nice if more people did that. would be quite phenomenal, yes.
How much have you had to drink?
Enough for a lifetime. Trust me. Happy upcoming New Year.
You held that down better than I would have, Lisa. Oh, hey.
It's moments like these that I regret making fun of the hussar for smoking.
Yeah, how's Hussar doing?
Are you all right, dear? Hope you don't mind me asking. You look out of sorts.
You sound like, Faina.
Yes. Yes, I am. Thank you.
Do you have a place to go tonight? It's New Year's Eve, after all. No good being by yourself.
Are you Faina's descendant?
Thank you. I do have some old friends I'm visiting.
Oh, that's lovely. Just lovely. You know, I overheard what you were saying back there.
He deserved it.
I know it sounded a little rough, but trust me, he needed to hear it.
Oh, no, dear, I didn't mean it that way. I would have said the exact same thing. I was just like you when I was younger. Didn't let anyone walk over me.
I'm not as young as I look.
Let's talk again in 50 years, dear. See who's right about this.
Sounds good.
That Chernov, though, he's trouble, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just as we managed to turn this rusty ship around, they're pulling the wheel again.
Now, I'm feeling like this is like this is something from history that I'm missing out on here. Okay, I did like a quick cursory look, and of course there's people with that name, so some of that came up as well, and I think with some more research there is a historical figure from around this time that would be stuff about that, but unfortunately I'm uncultured and don't know anything about it. But I feel like that's where it's going, because I don't remember another character like that had a name, but maybe they changed their name and we're gonna find out that, oh yeah, it's someone we knew or something.
Still, all this time, I never lost hope. Not once. And you shouldn't either, dear.
Thank you. I think I needed to hear that today. You know, you remind me of an old friend of mine.
Friends, of course. Sorry for keeping you, dear. Your friends are probably wondering where you are.
Don't worry, they're quite a patient bunch nowadays.
Do you need help?
Do you need any help carrying your bag?
Oh no, bless you, dear. I live just around the corner.
Really? In the old apartment building?
That's the one. My great-aunt used to own it before the revolution, and I inherited it. I'm very lucky.
Aunt.
It's apartment number 1. Stop by for a cup of tea sometime if you feel lonely.
Interesting that you're so much like your great aunt.
Have a wonderful year, dear.
Thank you. And you.
That's fun.
Well, what do you know?
What do you know, indeed? Yeah, he closed up shop now. I never did get to go into the church. I never did find out what that painting does either. Never did discover. Church appears to be condemned. Hello. Are you finished exploring? Wait, could I go down the street to Romans? I don't think I can? Yeah, there's no way to get over there. There's no way to get over there to, like, Romans, because, yeah, it would be through there. But I can't go. I can't go there. I can't go to, like, Town Hall and stuff. Interesting. So I guess we are done. Yeah, I guess I am. Well, this is definitely the more satisfying ending for sure. Yeah, I know whose grave that is.
Sorry, Evgeny. Maybe if we met later in my vampiric life, things would have worked out differently.
Alright, who else? Ah, Demian.
To my relief, Demian was among the many lucky survivors who were rescued from the town hall dungeons. Perhaps even luckier, Demian never ended up on the lower levels of Savelli's underground prison. That left him relatively unscarred, and soon enough he seemed to be back to his old playful self. One thing did seem to change, though. After the events of that night, I certainly noticed him working in the fields much more often. It's hard to find a silver lining to what transpired, but I suppose scaring Demian into a working man may have been one of them.
Interesting. Can I examine that cross one in the background? It doesn't look like it. This one, I can't examine you? Roman!
After I told Roman the truth about myself, he immediately volunteered to become a vampire himself. He was beside himself with excitement to learn that so many of his beloved stories were true, and he wanted to be a part of that world as well.
So why is he not?
After all, his dream was to travel and learn about folklore and culture, and an eternity to do just that seemed perfect. I accompanied him on his expeditions a few times, but I couldn't travel as much due to my medical duties, so he often journeyed on his own. He managed to connect with all kinds of people and hear the legends of their homes and ancestors. It wasn't just for his pleasure either. He published several tomes on world folklore, which were translated to dozens of languages. He loved the people around him, and he shared that love in his favorite way, through his books and stories.
So wait, but if he was a vampire, how is he dead? Did he just die a vampiric death? Shouldn't he still be here? Lisa ended up telling an offer to turn him, which he enthusiastically accepted. Roman and Lisa remain in a happy relationship. Ended up traveling all around the globe numerous times and published a series. Wait, this doesn't make sense. If we're in a happy relationship, where are you? Why do you have a grave here? Maybe they have, like, maybe to help get them off the trail of the vampires, they'll make a fake grave for the person and put them in their old town and be like, oh yeah, no, they definitely died. But Roman's just off exploring, but we're still together? I mean, it says you're alive. It doesn't say you're dead. So I think this is a bit of weirdness, possibly based off of a combination of things that I did. But yeah, okay, so Roman's still good. Fantastic. Come see me and Elisa.
Gosha proved herself a true hero by disarming the bomb prior to the attack on Town Hall. Many assumed that after Yvonne, their golden-throated leader, went to prison, the local revolutionary cause would fall apart. But, yet again, brave Gosha came to the rescue. She assembled what was left of the group and pivoted towards peaceful change. Ultimately, she turned it into a legitimate political party that existed for decades after her eventual passing. During the years she led the movement, she helped steer the country away from many a tragedy, although, of course, plenty couldn't be avoided.
It is funny that Roman was so down with being a vampire. Like, it makes sense. Roman would be like, oh, hell yeah. Oh, Petya.
I'm happy to report that Petya is still alive and well.
Yay! Okay. So it is a case of, like, we're examining their gravestones, but it doesn't technically mean they are dead.
He is, of course, still bound to Matilda's body, but at this point, I think even if someone offered him a different form, he'd turn it down. He may have never made it as a great salesman, but in a way, the fact that he no longer interacted with customers in his new body only did him good. Petya opened a small doll boutique, and it turns out, when someone else was selling his dolls, people absolutely loved them.
Oh no, you just weren't a good salesman.
He never took it personally, though. Petya was just happy that the dolls found good homes. Of course, to open a business, he needed a human for the paperwork, and who happened to step up but his old friend Elisa. She was the face of his company for quite some time, during which they became the best of pals again. Human or vampire, that's something I never imagined happening in a million years. But life is just full of surprises.
Oh, weird. It keeps doing that thing where, like, the dialogue cuts out a little bit. That's cute. I like that Elisa and Petya got that. Maruja. Or Marusa.
I always feel a touch of melancholy when I think of how Marusa's life turned out. Don't get me wrong, she lived a long and full life, and was an exemplary worker and an excellent parent to a bunch of smart and stubborn children, just like herself. I may have meant well when I advised her to temper her expectations, but I always felt that the glow in her eyes got dimmer ever since.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that, but it was the only option, and I didn't have 50 coins on my person. This bums me the most, yeah.
Marusa did choose her path herself, and by anyone's standards, she made the best of it. But I just can't help but think there was something more in store for her, and that I could have played a part.
Okay, well I know who that is, so we're not going there. Hey, Trophime, you're still doing okay.
When the right moment came, I turned Trophime into a vampire and, well, he's been working for me ever since. There was a small scandal when the Countess realized I stole him from her, of course. But ultimately, she didn't even care enough to assemble a vampiric court to argue for him. Trophime remained an excellent driver, even when he had to eventually switch from horses to cars. I do try to treat him well, but sometimes I wonder if that's much better than him serving the Countess. He never complains, but who knows? Perhaps living the rest of his days as a human would have made him happier.
I don't know about that, Lisa. He was straight up trying to kill himself on a beach. I don't know if that would have made him happier. I think he's happy. I feel he seems to be enjoying fishing. You know? Faina!
I only knew Faina for a short time, but somehow the memory of her has never faded. She meant a lot to me. She still does. I took care of your flowers as best I could, for as long as they lasted. Rest in peace, dear Faina.
Faina was sweet. Only a few characters left. Yvonne.
I didn't know exactly what to expect when I told Gosha about the bomb, but she sure came through that fateful night. As I learned later, Yvonne devised a backup plan in case the bomb didn't end up being delivered. But what he didn't plan was on his right-hand woman deactivating the explosive before handing it over to him. When the townsfolk saw what happened and understood the scale of the tragedy that was barely avoided, Yvonne was swiftly thrown into jail. I didn't hear whether he was ever pardoned, but I do know for certain that he never returned to politics.
Okay. And then there's nobody here. There's not one here. Okay, I think we're just about done. Oh, Oleg?
Oleg and I never became close, but at least till I left town, he kept running the shop and seemed to be doing fine. I always felt a sense of gratitude in him for sparing him. In retrospect, I think I'm glad I didn't end up taking a life for an old grudge, albeit a very heavy one. I wonder if the Rusalka is still out there somewhere. Did she ever forgive him?
That is a question. Okay, I think we got everybody. I always love these kinds of things, where especially at the end of a long adventure like this, you get to see where everyone ended up, you know? It's wonderful. I like it. I always have a soft spot for these kinds of things. Alright. I think that's everyone in the graveyard, at least. I am ready to move on.
I did what I came for. I suppose it's time to go home.
Alright. I'm still gaining XP.
Oh!
Snack!
Huh. Strange. Snakes usually brumate over the winter.
Yeah.
When metabolism slows down, they stop eating and hide out underground till it's warmer. Nobody must have come here for ages. I bet I scared it out of its hiding spot.
Poor Snack.
Slithering back to the shadows. How the mighty have fallen.
It's cold, Snack. Go back. It's okay. I don't know if me just walking through like that would have woken it up from that, but...
Oof. The church sure has seen better days. What does the sign say?
We're still going, huh? I was kind of wondering if that was just going to be the end back there. This building has been deemed dangerous due to a snake infestation and is hereby condemned. Demolition of the structure and consequent building of a public swimming pool is planned.
Condemned? Wait a minute. So, it's not technically a church anymore, and I don't need an invitation. Does that mean I can enter it?
Oh. Wait, yeah, we never got the
Wow.
opportunity to come in here.
It's been over a century since I've been inside a church. I'd forgotten how it looks, what it smells like.
I do not like the smell of church.
I had my problems with religion even before the whole vampire business, but still,
I mean, the historical impact and the art is still pretty.
I must admit, it's beautiful here, even now.
Ah!
Damn it.
Unlock?
The Morozov family. Minus me, of course. I remember how, even before I was allowed to touch matches, in church, Mother would let me light candles for people we knew.
Yeah, we needed to find out about Kolya and how my mom and dad are doing.
I loved doing it, partly because of the excitement of the dangerous forbidden flame, but it was also more than that, although I never believed in what it represents. It felt important. Why don't I light some candles now? I may not get another chance.
Yeah, I mean, you can assign importance to anything, even if you don't particularly believe in, like, the rituals and stuff that a religion practices. I mean, if you like the act itself, you can still do it. Light candles for my family. Nothing to do over here. I wonder if because very early on with Anastasia, I could have had the opportunity to come to church with her, so, or try at least. Said snake infestation. I don't see any babies here. Well, I guess they are.
I've got enough.
They wouldn't be. They wouldn't be here. Brewmating.
There.
Tell me about Kolya. There we go. Let's start with Kolya.
It's not easy being an older sister, but being a younger brother must have also had its challenges. Kolya and I see each other often. I can always count on him, and he on me. I couldn't ask for a better blessing.
How does vampiric society look at the fact that I turned my brother and we both know of each other? Because we're supposed to stay away from family, but I straight up am the sire of my brother. You think that would cause some issues?
He's getting by all right, doing odd jobs here and there, though, in all honesty, after that night at Town Hall, he was never quite the same. He doesn't like to talk about it, but what he saw on the lower floors of the underground prison left a deep scar in him.
Makes sense.
I can't imagine what kind of dreams he has during his slumber, but seeing his face after he rises is enough. Sometimes I wonder if things might have been different if I gave that cop his bribe. In vampire years, Kolya is still young, though. I hope one day he'll be able to leave those nightmares behind.
I mean, in vampire years, I'm still young, too. I'm not that much older.
I'm proud of you. This one is for you, dear brother.
Alright.
People tend to only say good things about the dead, but we all knew Father was far from perfect. Slowly but surely, drinking turned him from a kind and loving person into a monster. And I know more than most what it means to be one. But some fairy tales do have a happy ending. He managed to quit drinking soon after that fateful summer. I couldn't have been more proud of him. I might be giving us too much credit, but I feel like Kolya and I might have had something to do with it. Mom stuck with him through the rough months. Uncle Mitko helped out with money before they got back on their feet, and from what I gathered, they both ended up rather happy.
Well, that's good for them, then.
So glad I managed to get this new picture of them. Of course, according to higher society laws, we're never supposed to get in touch with family, but Kolya and I bent the rules just a little.
Yeah.
We got into some trouble, of course, but that's a whole other story. Rest in peace, dear mother and father. Funny thing, for over a century I've lived so many lives. Different names, cities, friends, and enemies. I've seen more people live and die than one can count, or care to remember. But even after all this time, I still think about my family. They never faded away. I could have done things differently, and every day I have to live with my choices and my mistakes.
Look at my 90s goth queen.
Some of them are heavy and bury themselves deep in my gut. From what I hear, every vampire receives a keepsake like that sooner or later. Maybe that's the true payment for eternal life. Or maybe it's a part of any life, really. I don't know if they ever fully go away. If I'm honest, I don't think so. But they remind me to do things differently, to be better. And when I do, sometimes I feel human again. Last candle left. I think I know what I'll light it for.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, were we not going to do mom and dad separately? We did them together, I guess. Hope.
I've seen people in this country go through so much suffering. Wars, revolutions, tyranny, famine. So much has happened, and yet so little has changed.
Woof.
Some people say this country is cursed, hopeless. I don't know if I believe that. I've seen fates crushed by a short sentence. I've seen lives saved by a simple embrace. No matter what they say, a person's choice can make a difference, so you might as well do your best. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll all make enough of the good ones.
Woof. This hits really hard right now with many of current events. Obviously, I think I get the general area that this fictional setting in Europe is supposed to take place in. I mean, I'm not like totally sure of that, but it feels like a good idea, basically. But yeah, I mean, this can be a lot of things right now. There's so much hurt and suffering in the world right now that this hits pretty hard.
And for now, there is hope. Demons may be hereditary, but we are in charge of them.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh. Ow. Wow, that was a good ending. Whew. The Happy New Year coming in, like right when you get hit by that incredibly depressing thing there. Wow, I'm really glad I got both endings, because this song is fantastic, by the way. That hits hard. I feel like that's going to hit hard for a lot of people. So, what a good game. What a fantastic game. I'm so happy I decided to play this. Like I said, it definitely has its issues, and there's some weirdness sometimes around here, but I feel like the message in it and the mechanics and a lot of other stuff in it as well, the characters, it's just, it all comes together so well. I do find that I really enjoyed the art and the setting as well. So, props to Laura Gray. I mean, props to all of the VAs, but Laura Gray killed it as Lisa. especially in that ending part there. I thought Kolya and Dimian were the same voice, but yeah, I mean, I feel like based off of some of the things I saw here, I feel like the fictional setting, I mean, it is fictional, so it could be anything, but it feels like it's probably Poland. And obviously people that know a little bit more about the history or various other things about Poland or just general other areas around there would probably be able to give more of an educated and correct answer probably, but yeah, Poland's had a extremely rough time of it, being kind of trapped in between a bunch of countries that hate each other and having wars just traipse through their country and things. So, like I said, I can't speak too much on it just because I am uncultured and don't know a ton, but the little bit that I do know is like, yeah, it's not a great time. Not a great time at all. But like I said, the particular message at the end isn't even just limited to if it is Poland, just Poland. There's a lot of things that are happening in the world right now that I'm sure I don't need to say that message could apply to as well. It's really, really rough. And it is interesting to see a vampire game that takes place in a fictional Eastern European town in the 1800s just so pointedly point to that, you know? That's one of the cool things about fiction, is when it surprises you by, you know, having something like a vampire RPG have such pointed things that can apply to current day, because, I mean, like Lisa says, you know, like, history is cyclical. She has seen these things happen before, and it's just rough to see it happen again, so, ugh, that's a rough one, but that was a fantastic ending. They nailed it with the Happy New Year coming in when it did. Depressing, but very, very good game. God, I'm happy I played it. Fantastic game. Fantastic game. I will probably recommend this to people that like these sorts of things, because I know a few people that, you know, like RPGs where it's like not just about combat, because, you know, so many RPGs are about combat, but sometimes you want to meddle around with some other things. So, good game, Cabernet. Alright. I guess we're gonna go ahead and end off there, and I'll see you next time for something else.